This is the new stool we're going to try and draw up, and I am copying a video online, so I'm going to try and put some words to it because there's no words in the video online, and I'm going to try and show you some of the steps involved. Alright, create a new design. Probably best to save it and call it stand, because we're making a stand, so I'm going to call it U9. Alright, so I'm going to put it in my engineering and automotive folder. Alright, and I'm going to kick off by creating a sketch. Click on the sketch tool. Usually prompts you to go which face do you want to draw. I'm going to draw on the top, this one here. The other thing you can do is click on this box. I can click on this box and it'll flip to the top view, and you'll notice the box there just spun around anyway. Alright, now it's going to probably prompt me, well it's not, it's going to wait till I say, well, what do you want to sketch? A line, a rectangle, a circle, a fit point and spine. We're not doing that or anything else, but mostly we do circles. So let's say I click a circle. The simplest one is bang it in the middle. You don't have to, but hey. And select the diameter. Okay, my little stand I think is 240 high, and I think it's about 200 wide. So let's say 200 diameter. Enter. And there it is. I'm going to stop the sketch and send it back to home. It looks like that. There's my sketch. And you'll see here, this is my seat sketch over here on the left that I'm playing with. So I can go in and edit it if I want. For instance, if I click on it and go, hang on a second, if I want to edit it and go, oh, I don't really like that size, I can change it to 180. And it'll edit it like that. Okay, and now I need to give it some thickness. I'm going to go up here to extrude. Ease is a shortcut, but if you're like me, I don't use shortcuts. And I can pull it up or put it down, so I'm going to make it about 25 millimeters. Actually, I'm going to go for halfway between 25 millimeters thick, and there it is. That's going to be my seat top, and nearly everything we're going to do is going to have a fillet on it, so nothing's really good when it's sharp. So wood, timber, you sand the edges, or you put a chamfer on it or something, but same with the concrete. So I'm going to go in there and click on this edge around here and put a little tiny, even if it's just a 2 millimeter radius, or fillet on the edge, or I can do a 10. I can do a whopping big one like this, and press OK. All right, so there's my concrete. By the way, there is another way to do this, and it's I'll quickly show you. So if we're going to go into, oops, no, undo that. I'm going to do a sketch, and I'm going to do it in the front view, this one here, or front watch. I'll click on the front box for a sec. All right, and I'm going to click on sketch. There we go. And now I'm going to try and show not just a circle that's straight, because most of our buckets are not dead straight. They're on an angle, or they taper. So most of our lines, our concrete and our buckets are going to be on an angle as it goes down. So this is how I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm looking at the side of the seat. I'm going to start with a line. And again, I don't have to start in the middle there. And I'm going to drag it out. Let's say this is like a radius, so I'm going out, let's say 90. All right, and then I can go up at an angle, because remember my bucket is probably sloping at an angle, not 90. Most of them are going to be, what's a nice number, 80. Let's go 80 degrees. Let's go click here, and actually let me undo that. go here, line. Let's write 25 mil thick, and I'll press the tab key, and let's write, this one's going from the other side, so 110 degrees. Looks good. All right, enter. All right, now up here, notice if I keep going back to line, or I can press L, and it automatically knows that's a shortcut. I just learned a shortcut. Straight across, hit here, click it, come back down, make sure you close it. Okay, that little shape, whatever you want to call it, is closed. See how it's blue and all the lines meet up? And then I think I can go stop sketch. All right, and if you send it home, this is all we've got. This weird thing. All right, but I'll go back. All right, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to revolve it a little bit like that. I'm going to create a revolve, as you can see up here in the top. And what it does is, if you look at that blue thing, I can't point at it. You draw a cross section and it'll spin it around an axis. That's exactly what I want to do. So I click on revolve, and I've only got one thing possible I can revolve, and it happens to be that. So I don't have an option. Otherwise, I'd have to select it up here. Which bit do you want to revolve? Okay. Again, I have no choice because there's only one thing. Now it says here, what axes do you want to revolve it around? So I'm in the select. I could revolve it around this axis, and it'll do that. It's not a good idea. So again, select. I've got axes, and I'm going to select this one here, which I think is y-axis according to my cube in the top corner. So if I select that, it automatically spins that shape around that axis like that. Okay, and then I press OK, and there is my concrete bucket. And again, I would go in and add a fillet onto that, even if it's just a 2mm. Oops, 2mm one, or 5. Okay, so there's another one. This is probably more accurate to what we're doing rather than this. Anyway, I'll go back to this one. Okay, so we've got our concrete seat. It's sitting on the ground at the moment, so I'm going to show you how in the video we're watching they push it up in the air. So let's show you that. You probably don't have to, but let's click on move, and it says, what do you want to move? Do you want to move a face or a body? Okay, we want to do bodies. Okay, because over here in the left, you'll see here body. That is my, let's call it the seat part. Okay, that's called a body rather than a. It's now a 3D object. I think when it comes from a sketch, it's a 2D, and when it becomes 3D, it becomes a body. And yep, so that's what we've got. So now I've named it seat, and you can. Oh, that didn't change. Why didn't it change? Now it's called seat. Okay, and you'll notice I can make it disappear or not. I've got sketches. The sketch is the circle I drew for the seat. The body I've got is this. And if I had more, I would have more. We will have more in a minute. Okay, so now I'm going back to move. Move, what do I want to move? I want to move a body. Okay, I've only got one, so it's automatically selected. Type of move. I've got free move, translate, rotate, point to point. I'm just going to move it straight up. Okay, in what direction? I think it's the Y direction. So if I go here, I can either grab it and go, I want to move it up in the air, or move it horizontal. I think up in the air was the Y direction. So it makes sense to lift it up the height you're going to make your stand. And I think my stand was only going up like 225mm. Oops, not 2 meters, 225mm high. It's moved it up in the air. Press enter. And there it is. So now you'll see I've got a seat 225mm off the ground, or off this plane. So now we're going to start creating the legs. Okay, there's a couple of ways they do it in the video. The gentleman, well, I assume it's a gentleman, I think. He draws cylindrical legs. So he starts with a sketch and he goes to this bottom plane here, but you could start at the top. Oops, I selected the wrong one. I'm going to press Command and Z and undo that. That one. And it spins around at the top view. But we're actually drawing on the ground, I believe, in this one. So this guy, he goes and draws a circle, kind of like this. So by the way, I'm using a mouse, so I've got a little left, right, and a little wheel. So I'm just zooming in with that little wheel. But you can use zoom in, move around, orbit. But I tend to use the little wheel in it. So if I was drawing a leg, I could go to the edge. Notice it goes blue, that little square, when I'm on the edge, and then it changes a bit. Tries to pick things. So let's say I want it here. Circle, and let's say 20mm diameter circle. Enter. All right, and if I zoom out, it's down on the floor here. Okay, we were looking at the top, but I don't know if you realize when I selected which face, I selected that flat one, so it's down here on that plane, even though we're looking from above. So in this case here, I'd go finish sketch. I would extrude that as a leg. Okay, and let's go to the front view to make sure we're making the leg tall enough. And let's go a little bit. Yeah, it doesn't matter at the moment. Let's leave it there. Press enter, and it disappears. Let's redo that. Why didn't that work? Let me go again. Back home, I've got my little sketch. I can name this a leg. Yeah, it's called leg. Enter. This one here is my seat circle. I like naming things. Leg. Why didn't that? Leg circle. Enter. All right. Let's do it again. What do I want to? What profile do I want to extrude? So I've got to select it here, and now it says start it. So I'm going to drag it up, or I can set a defined distance of 250. Let's go cut. Yeah, let's leave it at cut at the moment, or intersect. Actually, I'm going to turn off a body. I'm going to turn off the seat, so it's just a leg on its own. So all I did was go over here and see a little eye. I can see it. I cannot. I can see it. I cannot. I can see it. I cannot. So the eye means it, can you see it or not, kind of thing. All right. So there is a one-legged stool. Pretty funky. Let me go back to this other drawing I had sitting here, and let me show you another thing I think he does. So let's move my body. I've only got one body there, so let's select it and lift it up. What do I say? Let's go 200 on this one. There it is. All right, let's sketch on the bottom plane. Notice here I'm selecting this bottom plane here. Spins around. The guy in the video, let me can that for a sec, finish this. He does a cylinder. So he actually goes in here and goes, let's create a cylinder, which is just a circle that has been extruded. So let me do what he does. So he goes cylinder, bottom face. Why didn't that work? Create cylinder. What face do I want to do on that one? It didn't rotate for me, so let's go to the top view, and then I think he goes here and does a circle. 20, enter. Let's go home so we can see what we're doing. That's all he does. go to the front view so I can see how tall my... So that's what he did in the video. He created a cylinder. Nothing wrong with that. Got nothing against cylinders, but let me show you another thing you could probably do is create a box. Again, you don't... Most people are probably doing rectangular or square legs, not round. So on your actual stool, you're probably doing more of a box. But it's just as easy to go in and go, I'm going to draw the shape of my my leg. But let's give it a crack. Let's try this box thing. Give it a go. Let's go box. What plane do I want to draw on? I want to draw on the ground. All right. I'll flip it around to the top, and let's pretend I want to place. Didn't give me option to do it of a box. Let's say my leg is this shape. Let's say 20 tab 15. Enter. And I'll have options to move it. Because you'll probably notice it's not symmetrical around this red line, so I could probably, it's going to stretch it, isn't it? Yeah, it's going to stretch it. Let's go OK. If I wanted to go home, there's my little box. I could probably edit it. So this is probably why I don't choose body 2, I think it was. Trying to edit it. Edit. Got the body 2. Maybe it's sketch 2. The other thing you can do is you can edit it down here. Like double clicking it in this bottom plane, you'll notice height. Let's see, I didn't put in a height, did I? 200. Flip around to the front. Yeah, so that's the other option you could use as a box. Box to create a body, which is a leg. All right, I think I did mention how I want to look at that leg from the top, but I want to, so if I turn that off, the seat, you can see it's actually not centered. So I'm going to try and move this whole thing in this direction. Let's see if I can just eyeball it. No, it doesn't allow me to eyeball it, so let's go 2 millimeters. No, it's not going to let me, so I'm going to go minus 2 millimeters. That's too much. Probably shouldn't have tried to do this. Try to get tricky, it's not centered. I'll have to come back to that. I'm going to go back to my other drawing. This is too hard. This is where we were. All right, let me go back. So basically, like I just said in this one, down on the tree in the bottom left of your screen, if you can see where I'm circling, that is my leg. That is the circle. This is the move. This is the fillet. This is the extrusion of the seat. I can go in and edit or delete that. So let's say I want to delete that leg. Okay, but I've still got the circle. So I can do that. I'm going to go in and go, nah, you know what? I don't want a circular leg anymore. Okay, I've got no leg. So let's go create a sketch again in that top plane. I'll zoom in a bit. And I want to do a rectangle, because I like rectangular legs, but I'm not going to do 2-point. I'm going to go in and go rectangle center point. So that means I can go, here's the center of the rectangle, you do the rest. So I'm going to select on that line so I get it axis of the symmetry, or symmetry actually. And let's say I plonk it here. And you'll notice now when I drag out, it creates a rectangle around that line. And I'm not going to click again. I'm just moving my mouse and I'm going to write the numbers in. So I'm going to write 15, tab, and 20. 15, 20, or 25. How does 25 look? Let's go 20. Oops, not 220, 20. Beautiful. I like that. Finish sketch. Hide the top if you want to have a look at it. Hide the seat. That's all I got. Okay, and I'll send it home, and you'll notice the little rectangle I just drew is down on the floor. Okay, I'm going to extrude that. So I'm going to extrude what profile that one, how high. Well, I don't know how high. That's kind of why I spin my box around. I'm going to turn off the seat so that if you have the seat there, it wants to know, are you planning on cutting the seat or joining to the seat? I think you can do join. It just becomes part of it. I like to keep it separate at the moment so that I can bring it up, and I don't know if joining it's necessary or a good thing at the moment, so I'm not going to do join. I'm going to remove the seat and let's leave it at join. There. Okay, there's my leg. Send it home. There's my rectangular leg. Pretty boring without a seat. There's my seat. Leg, seat. All right, got one leg. Perfect. Okay, grab my cube. I'm now going to create a number of, actually no, I'm going to move that leg because at the moment it's straight. I don't want straight ones, and we're going to move it. So I'm going to go up here to the move tool. What do you want to move? Which body? I've got to select a body, either the leg or the top. It's because now I've got two bodies. I'm going to go over here and go leg. All right. Oh, I don't know why I have to do it twice, but it seems to be. All right. Move. What do you want to move? The leg. Where do you want to move it? I want to angle it. So this is where I'm going to grab this and go like this. All right, and you'll notice there it says Z angle 10 degrees. So let's go around at the front so we can look at it and go 10 degrees, that's pretty good. I can do 5 if I don't want it so much. Or I can go halfway if I'm not sure, 7.5 degrees. Yes, I'm going to leave it 7.5. And if you go up to the home, you can see it's tilting in that angle. Okay, done. Now my leg is at a 7.5 degree. Again, if I want to move it, what do you want to move? The body. Which body? This one. Let's say I want to slide it out here. Or in the middle. You don't want it, or you want it right near the edge. So you have the option to move it here. And notice I've got a little bit of extra at the top and the bottom. I mean below the red line, which is good because I'll show you why. Press OK. Let's pretend that's good. Send it home just to look at it. Yep, all good. Go back to your front view. All right, I'm going to sketch something here because I'm going to chop off the bottom of that foot, actually, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So you do a sketch on this vertical plane, and I'm going to draw a little rectangle along this red line. It doesn't matter how big. Okay, there's my rectangle. Finish my sketch. I'm going to extrude that rectangle down there. So go up to the top, press extrude. And in this case, I'm going to push it back. And notice it says cut. Actually, I do want to cut. I want to cut anything that that box hits. And you'll notice down here, I want it to cut the bottom of that leg. All right, so I'm going to go and let's watch it in 3D. Okay. Boom. It just did something weird. Chopped the bottom of my foot, but it also did something crazy. I don't know why. Interesting. Why did it do that? Let's go back and have a player look at that. What did I do? Let's go in and edit that extrusion. Notice I clicked on the little extrude down there in the tree. All right, down here, the front view, I'm not 100% sure why that did that. Can't work out why. Oh, that's why. Look at it. I've only cut from the line back, not the line forward. So the trick with this is one-sided or two-sided. Two-sided means I can pull two sides of the red axis. See here? I look at it end on that blue thing. Originally I had clicked one side like that. I didn't notice it, but it only cuts one side of that box rather than two sides. Okay, done. Now you can see the leg is chopped perfectly with the floor. Let's send it home, rotate it. She's a beauty. All right, really quickly, let's go up here and draw the other three. Because I'm going to go for 3 or 4 legs. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to use the pattern tool. All right, hover up the top. This thing here, rectangular pattern. There is circular pattern in here, so you can go circular. So we're actually doing, see how that image there is a circle? We're actually doing that rather than a rectangular pattern. So if I go circle, what do I want to pattern? I want to pattern a body. All right, and it says select it. What do you want to? I can go over here and select my leg, or I can just go and click on the leg. All right, now it's blue. It's been selected. Which axis do you want to revolve or pattern around? I'm going to do this vertical one, and it's too hard to explain why, but you'll realize why. So I'm clicking this green vertical one. All right, booyah! I've got 3 legs. Why have I got 3 and not 4 or 5? It's because here it says quantity. That's 4. Most people are probably doing 4, but if you want 3, it equi-spaces it. Angular spacing full. If you didn't want a full 360-degree equal spacing, you could change that, but we want that. So I'm going to go 3 legs, or 4. No, I'm going to go 4. Press OK. Give it a minute to think, and look at that. I've got a 4-legged stool perfectly revolved around. It's not perfectly revolved around, isn't it? It's a little bit offset, so I'm going to have to fix that. But 3 legs revolved around the center axis. You know what has happened? I think my legs are right. I think my seat is not centered. So I'm going to have to quickly try and move my seat. I think it was when I was mucking around earlier. I must have moved it. All right, I think I know what the reason is. You can see on my stool, I moved the seat, and now when I very early on, when I only had the seat there, before all these, I must have moved it off center, off axis. You can see it there. So there's 2 ways I can do this. I've just worked it out. One is I can go and move this top back into the center, and the other one way is I can just look at the top and try and move it manually, like this. Probably grab it and drag it and go, well, that's center, -10, which looks good, and that would solve. And if I go OK and send it home, and now turn back on my legs, they should be back in the right spot. And if you look here, I'll spin the stool and it's back. All right, so that was one way. The other way is in my last pattern, so let's say that move, I'm going to delete it down the bottom here. I'm going to delete that last thing I just did, that correction, even though it was good. So you can see here it's not centered. Okay, it's definitely not in the center of the seat. The other thing I can do is go and edit this whole pattern. So in the pattern, if I undo the axes, all right, and you can see here that was the original leg I had. All right, and when I selected it, so object selected around what axis, and then initially I selected this point on the XYZ coordinate, which is the green one, which is the Y, because the house up here has Y. But I didn't realize this was not in line. So the other way to do it would be select the axes of which, and if I go to the bottom of the stool, by the way, I'm going to move this sketch. I don't like this seat sketch that I can see. There you go. If I look at the bottom and I select this face here, so it would have revolved. Let's hope it has. If I did 4 legs now and I use the actual concrete or the seat as the axis, it looks right from there. Let's flip around to the front. It looks good. So if I click right side and then front, yes. So either of those methods work. And you'll notice I went back down to my timeline down here to do that. So 2 methods. One is do the revolve pattern thing around the correct object, or go back and move the seat back into the center. So when you do the pattern, you select the right thing, the right axis. So that's it. And the last thing I'll do now is just show you how to change the material. So I'll turn all sketches, flick all the sketches off, and you'll see here on the left here I've got leg 1, leg 2, leg 3, and leg 0. I'm going to change the materials, or give them a material. Okay, at the moment they're no material. So I'm going to go in there and modify. So what am I going to modify? I'm going to actually modify the physical material, or the appearance. Okay, I'm going to do physical material, and this pops up. And in this I've got, in ceramics are stones and things, so I could choose a ceramic, I could choose timber. Let's go down to wood, look inside the wood, and I've got cherry. I think the grayed out ones mean I don't have it, but I think you can download those from the library. And I've got mahogany, oak, pine, radiata pine, walnut, and wood oak. So I might go, let's go with white oak. I'm a bit of a fan of the old oak, so let's go white oak. So I think you drag it up here. And for the legs and for the top, I'm going to go in a stone because it's the closest thing to concrete I think there is. I don't think you can add to favorite. I don't think you can get granite. I don't know if you have to download it. Let me just check. What does it say? No, I can't remember how to download it. But stone. Let's see what happens if I put it up there. Drag it on. Wood onto my leg. Yep. Not sure that the stone works, so let's try it. I don't know that my stone's working. Limestone? Got a feeling that I'm not getting all the options here. I could change to plastic. Different types of plastic, red plastic, blue. For instance, if I wanted my seat plastic, I just drag it on and there becomes plastic. So yeah, there's many options. Some of the other cool ones are in metal. I've used a few of these before. Down here, these are anodized metal ones. So for instance, blue, this is pretty cool. Drag that on, you get this chrome metallic look seat. Notice the other thing is I've only done one of the legs, so I'm going to drop it on the timber look on all the legs. And there you go. So at the moment might leave it there. Um, that's my metal looking top and timber legs. Actually, before we go, I might I don't like leaving any timber with sharp edges, so I'm actually going to go in and try and modify. I'm going to put fillets or chamfers on all those little legs, so I might put fillets on them all. And what am I going to put it on? Edges. I'm going to put it on every single one of these faces, so I'm going to have to revolve it around, select. I can do it one at a time or go nuts and get every single one of these. I think I've got them all. I can see that one, that one, that one, that one. All right. Oh, you can see them up the top. I'm missing this back corner one here, so I'm going to spin it around and get it. So I should have 16. So 4 legs, 4 sides equals 16. So they're all selected. I can even do these bottom edges as well if I wanted. What do I want to put on them? I want to put a radius of only a small one, 2 millimeters. Oh, it's fillet, 2 millimeter radius fillet on it. Let's go okay and check it out. And then if you zoom in, you'll be able to see the legs now have a curve, or some people call it a pencil round. It's like a pencil. Radius is good, but I think technically it's supposed to be called a fillet. So yeah. And send it home. Let's have a look. That's pretty good. I'd leave it like that. Actually, one more thing. I might throw a. I don't like sharp edges. Did I tell you that? I'm going to put that on the bottom edge of this. That edge there. I'm going to put even a 2 millimeter on there. It just gives it a little bit of curvature. If you look at it, tiny bit of a curve on the bottom edge, large radius on the top. All right, there it is. Stool or a stand, and change materials.